Anime, and specifically Dandadan, just can't stop winning. Yes, Netflix here this last week has released its reports for the second half of 2024, showing its overall engagement of the entire platform, what's getting what views, the runtime of them, and everything. I think it's a really cool way of kind of deep diving into the actual platform and seeing what's actually working on their platform, what's getting the engagement, whatnot. And my gosh, the one thing that a lot of people are noticing is Dandadan is really, really high. Yes, of course, way at number one, Squid Games. Squid Games got a massive, massive following. But still, to have something like an anime at the number 38 point is actually really encouraging for the anime fandom to see the massive growth in it. Despite even myself not really liking so much the idea of it becoming global, the idea of everybody liking it, because then changes come. But still, it's cool to see. It's really, really cool to see. So yes, I looked into the actual engagement report, brought into here, broke it down and everything like that, and looked for specifically anime titles, and it's looking really, really good. Now, there's a couple things to note before we actually get into this data and see what it says here, because I think there's some things noted in the actual report that should be taken to notice. They say today we released our latest engagement report sharing what people watched on Netflix from July to December of 2024. As we announced last month, moving forward, we'll publish a biannual report alongside our second and fourth quarter earnings results. Really, really cool. And I'll make sure to keep an eye on this stuff because, again, I think this stuff is really, really fascinating, especially to see how much transparency is really there. Engagement is our best proxy for member joy. When we delight our members with shows, movies, and games they love, we can drive more engagement, revenue, and profit. Because when people watch more, they stick around longer. Retention. Recommend Netflix more often, and place higher value in our service. It's why we're leading the industry on viewing transparency, including our top 10 weekly, which I really do like as well. The engagement report covers 99% of all the watch time on Netflix. The simplest way to measure engagement is by views, total hours views divided by runtime. It's a metric all streamers can replicate and highly correlates to completers on Netflix. Success for all shows and film on Netflix comes in all shapes and sizes. We have breakout hits with huge audiences and popular shows with smaller ones. But no single title, not even the most popular, accounts for more than 1% of the total viewing on Netflix. That's really important there, and I think this is a massive flex point for Netflix. This is why I'm reading this. I think this is actually very, very interesting. What they're saying here is even something, again, like Squid Games here, which is, my gosh, dominating this list. It's twice as much as the next one down. Now, yes, you have to look at runtime as well. There's a difference here. There's a significant difference here in actual runtime, but still, that is huge. That is a massive thing. The viewership itself, really huge compared to everything else. And like I said, compared to anime. What they're saying there is this isn't even 1% of our viewership. People watch a broad range of stuff. And I think the way they're kind of flexing there is compared to something like, so let's just throw out there, Crunchyroll. Let's compare it to Crunchyroll. This is a massive assumption on my part, and this is something that I've been sticking to based on how they talk, based on how Crunchyroll talks, based on how Sony talks. They always talk about Demon Slayer. They always talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. They talk about Solo Leveling. Why do they keep talking about specifically those shonens? Because those are probably a massive majority of what actually watches on their platform. People sub and watch one shonen show a season in a lot of cases. I don't think a mass majority of their viewership is spread across their entire actual platform. I think people are very focused on these one things. Again, that's an assumption maybe just based on how huge these properties are compared to everything else. I would love to get something like this. Crunchyroll, please give me something like this. I would love to dig into that data. But again, I don't think they want to show that. Now, I could be completely wrong. The Crunchyroll platform could be like this. It could be like everything's getting a nice slice of the pie. But I don't think so. And there's a reason why those big shonens cost so much to license is because they know they're going to get that viewership in. Anyways, right here, I think this is cool. They're showing that, hey, we want to make sure that we keep broadening our actual offering. We like the idea that we have so much stuff, and I think that's something they've always had. From the very beginning, why Netflix was so popular is because they had a massive catalog. Yes, mostly Disney stuff. It was the Pixar stuff. They were pulling in those massive Hollywood films and animated films, and they were put on their platform before all those companies said, no, we want to do a Netflix thing. Let us do that. Let us take that so we can do that ourselves. They used to have that. And I mean, they're getting a lot of it back, but their focus is to make sure that we have a broad offering because audiences are different. We want to make sure we bring in everybody. There's something for everybody in here. And that shows in our actual data, and that the biggest thing is only getting 1% of the total viewership. Pretty cool. It's only got 0.7% of viewing. It's why we invest in a wide variety of quality shows and films, and why we need to make them great, so that every time a member comes to Netflix, they press play and stay. And it's important, because you don't want to log into Netflix and suddenly see a bunch of stuff on there that, yeah, a lot of people like, but you don't care. You don't care. Me personally, I enjoyed Squid Game Season 1. But if I turn on my Netflix right now and I see Season 2, I'm not really going to watch it. Yeah, I've ran down that train. I'm good. I'm good. Here's some insights for the second half of 2024. This is cool. Members watch over 94 billion hours of Netflix in a single half of the last year, a 5% increase year over the year. Yes, that makes sense again to the 1% thing based on Squid Game. Despite premiering 6 days before the end of the year, Squid Game 2 dominated the second half of our most viewed with 87 million views. That's another important thing to note there. That's a massive thing here, but this is like a very short period of time. That was December 26th. This could be much higher by now. They have a domination of animated films, true crime shows, South Korean, Japanese, Indian states, also strong viewership. Oh, this is interesting. They have Jujutsu Kaisen right here. 8 million, dominating Japan. That's interesting there. This is another important column right here that we're going to note when we go into this data, which we're going to do right now. That yes, they have a global specific column here. Is it global or not? And yes, something like Jujutsu Kaisen right here is not global. They did not have it globally. It was specifically, again, a lot of this data is in Asia and Japan. Now, let's get into this data, because again, I think this is really cool. Again, Squid Game right here dominating, obviously, way up here. But I'd like to note that despite that, 86 million, again, this is only for like a few days. They're number one, 86 million. Dandadan, 19.6 million. That's a quarter of their top one. That's massive. For this to have a quarter of number one's viewership is huge. This is amazing performance on the platform. And again, this was global. Most everything else here anime related is not, there's a few here that are global, but for specifically global, this is dominating. Now, yes, right behind it is the Hashira training arc for Demon Slayer. Specifically noting here, this is not global. I've seen a lot of people say Dandadan dominates on Netflix more than Demon Slayer. Dandadan beat Demon Slayer in views on Netflix. Yeah, it's because it wasn't global. I don't even think it's on North America yet. I know that there is Demon Slayer on Netflix. I'm not sure if Hashira Training Arc is on there yet for North America, or at least US. So this is specifically certain regions. Demon Slayer is dominating, but I love it. I love seeing this because I adored Dandadan Season 1. We're Season 2 already. It needs to come back right now. It's close. Soon. But yeah, it's really cool to see Hashira Training Arc, despite the fact that it, again, not global, only 8 episodes, doing very, very well. Right behind that, this is the other important thing to note here, Jujutsu Kaisen. This is Season 1. This is Season 1. And again, not global, and absolutely dominating right here. To have this type of viewership right now, Season 1, when we're, way beyond past that, it shows that retention, I guess. The retention of Jujutsu Kaisen is really incredible here. Still 219 in placement, but still really cool there. The Entertainment District arc for Demon Slayer doing really well as well. Some other interesting thing right here. Awesome. Again, also global, so this compared to everything else here is kind of low. But yes, this was technically something that I was really hoping would do well, is Ron 1/2. Still up there at 281 amongst the entire platform. Really good for, again, returner series, an older series that's just being redone. It's not going to have as many people jumping to go watch it, thinking it's just an older show. It's going to have some dated elements to it and its pacing and whatnot. I think it was an incredible remake so far. Really looking forward to more there. Going beyond there, again, we have the first season of Demon Slayer doing really well. We have the Mugen Train arc doing much better right there. And then right here, this is a surprise. Gundam Requiem of Vengeance, the first season, doing really, really well. Something I think a lot of people aren't really noting, which again goes to, it's Gundam. Let's be honest, it's Gundam. It's going to have a massive fandom that's going to be checking it out. It's got a very strong pre-established fandom there. Again, this released in October. Now, yeah, you can argue, is it anime? With that aside, but it's still a Gundam property. It's really, really cool. I want to note it. And then behind that, we have Daima again. It wasn't necessarily global there. Did very well as well. Spy Family's first season, still doing incredibly strong, again, despite it not being global. Rise in the Shield Hero Season 1 still doing well. Terminator Zero. I was actually very surprised by this. Actually did decently well. I would probably argue quite a bit of that fandom. I mean, it's got popularity in like Japan and whatnot. People love Arnold Schwarzenegger films and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that fandom still kind of kept to there, but still, it still did well for global. I think a lot of this is probably going to be the West, the United States. People going, what the heck? There's a new Terminator thing. The Terminator fandom kind of coming through there and checking it out. I was a little bit miffed on the idea that Delicious and Dungeon didn't do too well. And I guess technically most of the viewerships for this is already done. Most people watch this in the first half of the year itself. So I guess this is more of a retention thing, if anything, holding people's viewership or people checking it out now. But still kind of a bummer to see that I'm not doing very well. Other than that, there's some other stuff that was interesting in here. Probably Ocean Co, again, not being technically global release, but doing decently healthy on here as well. Beastars, despite the fact that came out literally at the tail end of the year, did decently well. Cyberpunk was up there, even though it's been quite a while since that came out, still doing decently well. But yeah, some really good numbers here. I'm actually very interested in this stuff. I'm hoping to kind of keep an eye on these reports and see how this stuff goes, because this is actually some really juicy info that I think is, I think for anime fans are probably very interested in, because again, it shows how healthy the anime industry is. It shows Netflix is going to want to invest more into anime because it's doing so well on their platform. Yeah, I would argue, I would hope that over time they can get this stuff more and more global, get these licenses from like Crunchyroll and whatnot to have it on their platform. That way they can stream it globally rather than it just being only certain shows, or later on getting, previous seasons of shows like Demon Slayer on their platform after the hype is kind of gone for it. Because I do think that Netflix overall is kind of a healthy platform to stream on, and it's obviously proven right here with these kind of numbers. But anyways, I just want to go on here and look at the data and show you guys what I kind of found in there. Hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, I'll take care.